So this is a 125 amp circuit breaker. Right there, that's your 125 amp double pole breaker. Double pole, 120 volts per leg. Look over there, you see both the legs coming in. Those are always hot. The panel is off right now, but those will always be hot because they're coming in from your service meter, which the power utility company is the only ones that can get in there. Over here you have your bus bar. Each side of that is 120 volts. Okay, and they alternate. So this one right here is I believe a double pole breaker. Now I'm thinking that's probably the dishwasher and garbage disposal circuit. You see right here, it's got a red and a black wire. Since it's 20 amp, it's going to be a 12-3 cable. 12 gauge is 20 amp, 15 gauge, or sorry, 14 gauge is 15 amp, and 10 gauge, which is those two black babies right there, is 30 amp, and that's going to go to your AC unit, which we got one over there. And you're also going to have some panel. Now, since this is a main panel, you're going to have your ground right there, ground bus bar, and your grounds, you can see them in there, also tie in, and your neutrals can tie in on the same bus bar. However, you can only have one neutral per slot there. Now, it depends on code, but I believe out here you can have 2 grounds per slot in there. Now, another thing to know is on a sub panel, you have to separate them. You have to have a ground bus bar and you have to have a neutral bus bar. Okay, so this two I want to show you. These are called slimline breakers. They're 2 breakers, 2 different circuits, but they'll fit into a section that would normally only fit 1 circuit. It depends on code in your locality. They may not be allowed. So, as you can see, and these right here are AFCI breakers. These 3, like I'm pretty sure one of these is for your fire alarms. Let's see, and see the ground right there. That ground rod will go into the earth. The earth is the ground. But pretty basic. Pretty basic. See, all the bare copper, those are your grounds. The red is a hot with a 3-wire cable. And also another thing to note is if somebody says, for instance, 14.2, there's 2 wires in there. There's a neutral and a black, but there's also a copper wire. However, they don't count the copper as a wire. Copper meaning your ground. So, very, very basic. And this is a square D panel. So, looks like we got 1, 2, 3 circuits that have, well, these are probably, see, those are going to be 12-3, so 12-3 there, 12-3 there, and 12-3 up there. So the only circuit that's got a 240 volts is going to be this one right here, because it's a double pole breaker that's going to the AC unit.